is being spent on the contractors. We want an investigation on all of these contractors and why so much of money is being spent on these contractors and not on the provision of water. True. We went for. Yeah, the chief of staff is sitting in front of me here. He promised to see me in 2 weeks' time and give me a resolution to my problem. It's now 3 months. I didn't even get a letter. Not even a memo to say, sorry, we are having a problem. We'll come back to you. We're still investigating. Silent. Nobody comes back to us. Minister, the only time, and this is sad, the only time we get any success from anybody is when we take to the streets, when we burn tires, when we start throwing stones, when we protest outside here or at Johannesburg Water or at Rand Water. Suddenly, miracle, we get water. What is it? Do you want us to permanently protest outside your offices so that you get what we get? Fundamental human right, water. We are fighting for a fundamental human right, water. Minister, there is no emergency plan by the department, by the city council here. Our communities for 28 days have had no water. We get a couple of trucks. Where's your emergency plan? Is water not an essential service? Is it not something that's supposed to be provided to us 24/7? Not in a tanker. We're talking about tap, because we pay for that. And lastly, Minister, you must see our bill at the end of the month. Nothing changes. You haven't had water for 28 days. What was your bill in Limbaugh? You got your bill recently. We just got our bills for the month of October. We have to pay end of September. Not one of our bill has been reduced, not even by 10%, not even 20%. Not even a percent reduction in our bill. In fact, I can guarantee you, Minister, from June, our bills have gone up by nothing less than 25%. And I'm talking about water. I'm not talking about electricity. I'm talking about water. I don't use water, but I suddenly get a bill of 1,200 rand for water. What? I didn't have water for 14 days. How come my bill has been doubled? Minister, again, they know the problem. If they have the will, they will resolve the problem in no time. These bureaucrats are sitting, I'm sorry to say that, and doing nothing. And they're doing nothing. And I can tell you, you know what gets sent out to us, Minister? A normal memo gets sent out to us 2 days after the event. Water stopped yesterday, but we get a memo today explaining to us why water was stopped. We should be getting that notice 7 days in advance so that we as communities can start to prepare for this. We understand that there are problems. Let me tell you this, Minister, we've been told before and we didn't want to accept this. We've been told we have to get used to 2 things. Water shedding and rationing of water because Rand Water can't supply bulk water. We were told in a meeting here, Chief will bail me out. We were told that Rand Water is going to provide 1,200 megaliters of water from the 1st of August. Has that happened? If that was provided, it would have helped some of the problem, alleviate some of the problem. In our community where I live, there are streets that don't receive water months on end, even if everybody else gets the water around them. You know what's the excuse from Johannesburg Water when we say, solve the problem? It's not our problem, it's Rand Water. They can't supply us with enough water, hence there's no pressure, and hence you are not getting water. Who's supposed to be doing that? Johannesburg Water, me. Am I supposed to be standing somewhere and pumping the water? What am I paying you guys for? Remember, I'm paying for a service. Water is not being provided to me for free. As much as it's a basic human right, it is not being provided to me for free. We pay for it. But paying for it, we are still not getting service. Lastly, Minister, the communities in the south, and this is what you're looking at here. We, many of us today, have pledged that we are going to be taking legal action against you guys. Yes. For what? For the non-provision of a basic human right. And this is not a threat. Minister, this is not a threat. In our midst here, we have our legal people who are hearing you. They are planning action. One of these days, Joburg Water, Rand Water, watch the press. If not, watch the summons coming to you. We have now come to a point, we've been civil with you, we've approached you in every meeting and said, please, 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 please. Nobody's heard us. When we take legal action, you will hear us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, and also the colleagues from Joburg Water, our colleagues from Joburg Water and Rand Water. My name is Lunga. I'm from Lima. Okay. There's just a couple of things I wanted to raise, and my colleagues or my neighbors over here have been venting, and they're venting for a reason. But I need to ask a question, just one, based around the water and Joburg Water. When is the water going to come back? I mean, we've been talking about issues now. I just want to know when is the water going to come back? And just hold on for a second, please. Just hold on for a second, please. You'll get a moment. The other point was raised by my neighbor here more about the water bills. They're quite serious. Just wanted to maybe just educate some people here that may not understand what's going on. Some of us kind of try to understand these things. The reason why Joburg Water is there is to service, and Randburg Water is to service us as communities. The role of the minister was appointed for that as well, to assist. Now, I know that you said you're here to get people to talk, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for you to call the shots, if I can put it like that. If people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, if people are not doing what they were supposed to be doing, Minister, then rewire the board, change them, get rid of them. We do this a lot. I mean, quite a few times I've seen the ministers recalibrating the boards, changing them when they are not performing. And at this point, if we've been sitting here for a very long time without water, there's a time in there when we used to say, you know, on Thursday or Friday, people are going to have water now. Because every weekend was a weekend special for us, no water. So, with that said, water leakages, we do address them on our side. Sometimes people can't get them addressed, but the point that I'm trying to raise is just one. All the roles that we have are based on the fact that we are paying money for the service that is provided. Now, if say, for example, let's just say 40% of the people that are here would drill boreholes in their houses and supply the communities with water, Randburg Water would probably start struggling completely, and they would have to share jobs too. The question around your position, Mr. Minister, will also be questioned as to if most people in South Africa are looking at drilling boreholes and having water themselves, and they don't require water from the municipality, would kill a lot of things. Would kill the job market for our people, would also kill your jobs. So I just want us to just take a step back all the time. When we are looking at services that people require, that are asking for, let me just take a step back and say, are we doing what our people really want us to do? If we are happy that we sleep well at night and we think that our people are happy as well, then we've got a problem. But if you're sleeping well at night knowing that your day over there is struggling and the whole community is struggling, then we've got a big problem about the people that we have in the various roles that we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Mchunu. I'm from Business Forum called Rosetten Progressive Business Forum here in Rosetten, just across the road. Minister, thank you very much indeed for coming to the ground and for engaging us for this audience. We also wish to be in the process solution-driven. Upset, emotionally, and angry as we are, but we want to be solution-driven. But also in the process, Minister, let me offer them a bit. You come from national government to mitigate on our very thorny, sensitive issue here in Johannesburg South. But then now, the number one citizen of this Johannesburg, of this city, who's supposed to be in solidarity with us here, crying with us, is not here. And you don't get any apology as to what transpired for him not to be here. I know it's not your problem, but I think we should migrate it to you to deal with that. I want to appeal to the in fact, for me, from where I'm standing, that amounts to arrogance. And it's an arrogance that cannot be tolerated from a person who is actually voted into the office. For a person who didn't get to that position by academic qualifications, if you like, but voted by us collectively. And I should appeal as well, and appreciate, of course, the councillors who are here, others are seated on this side, all of them, for coming here and being solidaric with us. But my appeal to you colleagues is to say, let's be also radical in the approach, and do not allow that man to speak in the council up until he comes and gives us a public apology here in Johannesburg South. If you then allow him to speak, address you in the council, you shall have invalidated our grievances here. That is my appeal to councillors. Now, on the issue of our crisis here, water crisis, my submission from I'm standing and the organization that I represent, Business Forum, would be, number one, let's deal with it in two phases. One, I would have been attempted, by the way, to ask a question, but it may not ask the city, Johannesburg Water, as to what exactly are the measures that they have to preserve that which we have. We already have water, but water is not going to the rest of our taps. But also, what are the measures that are there to save that which we have? And I guess there is no plan. I would have submitted that Johannesburg Water. We have a lot of leakages. I think Jerry has spoken on it. There are a lot of leaks around, but it will take about 5 days or and so to fix those. Can we then submit to you, because it will also extend to the question of unemployment. Can we submit here to you today to say, can you please appoint, not immediately, can you please appoint field workers who will also be running around, appoint them, and it is our money, appoint them, field workers, that will be speaking to population, so that they can also run around for purposes of preserving the water that we have. That is the first submission. Also, Minister, it may not find expression from others, those who are privileged. There are those who are extremely underprivileged, and they will appreciate the submission that you are making here as number 2. Can you then consider, Minister, doing perhaps a feasibility, I think it's called feasibility study, quickly, but at least for us to consider boreholes, and we think that if these boreholes will then be at least owned by a government, it will be proper for some of us. One of the boreholes, where we are seated now, we must wait, because this is a temporal measure, but also sustainable in addressing the issue now, because it mitigates on the issue as well now. Here is the situation. We don't have water in Rosettenville. I think Jerry spoke on it as well. One will then ask, what will be the difference? We don't have water in Rosettenville or downstream, and then you have to go to water tanks points with your baggage, and so on. And if you are not mobile, you don't own a car, and it will not the same. So if you are privileged, don't think that everyone else is actually privileged. Now, I must take my children. What if I don't even have children, by the way? I must take my children and a lot of baggage and travel quite a lot of distance to go and fetch water from water at 10 points. However, if there were boreholes, that would have been better for us. Yes, for other people, they don't see it necessary because they are privileged. I think there are others who are privileged than others. So that is the second submission, the issue of boreholes. The last one, it talks to all of us must do what is called a collective responsibility as well. What does that mean? The reality is that if you can start from house, let's call the first house here, a number 91 minister in Johannesburg Water. If you can start there as an example and say you are checking if number whatever number, they are not illegally connected, they are not stealing water. Let me put it raw in a crude way. They are not stealing water. Now, the point is, you'll go around here, you'll find most of us are illegally connected water. So in a crude way, it's called stealing water. And we don't take a collective responsibility as stakeholders here. What is our position on that? I see my neighbor is stealing water, and I'm also suffering, I'm paying water, my neighbor is stealing water. What then happens? Is it not affecting also or aggravating the issue or the scarcity of water? So that is the third point that I wish I must actually submit to you, Mr. Of course, now this is an appeal to you. I think everybody has said it. We really hope, Minister, we will do things against the ordinary things. What is that? Seems to me. As and when we move from here, at least there must be a progress. We may not want the situation where we come back here, we still have a meeting, and there was never a progress from the previous meeting that we may have here, which is this one. Thank you very much as I submit.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, for finally coming to our board after 1 month. I want to thank the Chief Work, the MMC Work, your office as well. Mr. Minister, I don't know, have you ever sat on a toilet where it's so full with all the dirt there? This is what our residents are actually experiencing right now. We have about over 15 old age homes that don't have water. When the truck comes, have you ever seen elderly people must run with buckets on their heads just to catch the water truck? And then the water truck goes right past, which means that elderly person has actually missed the truck now. Now, they're phoning the councillor now. I must phone Joburg Water again and beg, when is the other truck going to come? Our schools cannot operate because there is no water. Our clinics had to close down because there is no water. We have mothers with babies that don't have water. I think this is unacceptable, Mr. Minister. Also, why wasn't the councillors informed that the Mayors Hill Reservoir had a crack in? Only last week when we had a meeting at the Silver Ball, that's only when we were told there was a crack there. And also, all the updates, what Joburg Water gives us every single day, it's just copy and paste. They just change the words all the time, but the meaning is exactly the same.
Don't change the words.
In the line. Mr. Minister, also, you ride through the Joburg South. It's water all over. Our streets are running with water, yet that cannot be fixed. I personally went with Joburg Water. I've done a tour. Not one of these water leaks was fixed since I have done that tour. And yet, we do not have water here. We like answers when we hear. Most of these people here didn't go to work today because they want answers. Some of them are smelling while they're sitting here because there's no water for them to bath or to wash. That is unacceptable. And we were sitting here a couple of months ago with Joburg Water. We thought that the problem was fixed. That was just another lie. We're back here again. And I hope when we're going to leave here, we're going to leave with solutions. We don't want protests that are happening in our wards. We don't want streets to burn because we know that JHB don't even have money to come and fix a small pothole as big as a peanut. We also have to beg for things like that. What happens if there's a burn tomorrow in one of these wards that don't have any water? Must the people die because there's no water to to extinguish the fire. Mr. Minister, we are in big trouble here. If we don't have water, tell the people, go and make a plan. We're not going to have water. If it's load shedding, let us know. It is load shedding, it is water shedding, or whatsoever. But please come clean with us. These people here think the councillors, including myself, we are all liars. Because whatever we tell them, it's a lie. We get abused on WhatsApp groups. Sometimes we're too scared to go with our cars somewhere because the people are waiting for us. It is not fair. I really hope that when we leave here, that we're going to leave with solutions. My last point also, Mr. Minister, these people here never had water for 1 month. Maybe when their bills come, take this month bill away, let them not pay for it. Maybe we must consider that, please. When some people do not pay for water, Joburg Water is there the next day to go and switch them off. Yet it's people that's not working. So when there's not water, please let us know and don't catch us by a big surprise to tell us there is no water. Our residents need answers, and so does the councillors also need answers when we leave here, Mr. Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, President. I would want to hand over to the Minister and the team to respond to some of your comments and questions. Then maybe if time allows, we'll then come back to you. Thank you. Okay. Yes, you will get solutions. You will get, definitely. Sorry. Okay, let's take another last round of hands so that they can then be able to conclude. Let me take gentleman over here. We are number 2, Sen. Number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. Last hands. Let's take this first 10 and we'll see what happens.
Now you come to
okay, Father, I suggested that you refused it. No. I said the leader should respond. He said no. Sorry, police. Order. My suggestion was that let the minister respond. Then you refused it. Yes. Can he respond? Then you can then come after. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see that we have to assist because it's to run a meeting like this is natural, not going to be easy. But before I really say what I want to say, I need to check Johannesburg or Johannesburg Water. I don't want them to go out with a report that says that we are a water service authority in this area. But Minister came, he was the only one who responded. He denied us the opportunity to respond when we are the water service authority. So Johannesburg municipality or Johannesburg Water or both of you, I would want you to start. I don't know who amongst yourselves because the mayor is not. They must speak. Johannesburg Water. Johannesburg Water. Here is you are called upon to speak. That side. Now he is speaking on behalf of Johannesburg as a whole, as a water service authority.
Maybe before the Speed Minister. My name is Jack Squayle. So we felt that it's important, but I must indicate I know the frustration of residents, especially with regard to the attendance of the executive mayor. I was just having a chat with him now. He's engaged somewhere. I really wanted to come. But let us indicate that obviously the challenges of this area, I mean, it has been, they've been experiencing this problem for quite some time. This is one area that includes rubber shell, that as and when there's a water outage, they're the last one to be able to recover the lost water. So it's a struggle, which at some stage, or in a debate that might lead us as a city to invest in a particular engineering work around the area. But why other areas will recover earlier than the other? So those are technical issues that some stage technician will then be able to provide. I know in the inner city Johannesburg, we pump. There's a urban reservoir there where pumps because of the high-rise building. They wouldn't be able to have water because of that. I think we must invest in a water pumping system around this area, that is highland areas. I'm saying this.
Residents, can we please respect the meeting? I think you had a chance to speak and you spoke, you were not disrupted. Can you please do the same, please? Thank you.
We are doing the same in around command system, Brixton, Heston areas. There's a development of a new reservoir in a tower that's under construction currently as we speak. It's an intervention that we are deploying to try and mitigate the issue at site. But I'm saying here, in areas that are highland areas, we must then invest in the deployment of the pumping system to pump water out. Because if we can't do that, you will forever be the last one to recover, while the whole entire city is recovering. So it's given. At some stage, I once got a question that someone who stays next to a reservoir will say, I don't get water, but someone down there does get bigger than you. It is simply because of the gradient that water goes build up all the way down to the pipe and come up to the residents. Because there's no pumping system that is there. But in the inner city, you have 4 pump systems that is there. 4 of them are what you call them spare, 2 are pumping at a full capacity. So that is an intervention that I think we are going to do. Our service debate will take it to the mayoral committee for discussion, and therefore the availability of funds towards assisting residents in this particular area. So those are, in our view, should be a long-term solution. But I think there's a problem, and that's what we normally say all the time, that it's not easy to recover from water outages as compared to electricity. You are correct, it's a crisis that we must then begin to invest ourselves. Our own engineers must be able to tell us what is to be done to assist people in some surrounding areas. Then let's see how we avail resources ourselves as politicians. But I think the engineering point of view, they will come in and just touch certain technical issues that I didn't. I just felt that I must just quickly say that I think you can just quickly come from Joburg, and later will be followed by a gentleman from Red Water.
Thanks, MMC. Good afternoon, Minister, Councillors, and residents. My name is Derek Hole. I'm the Chief Operations Officer from Johannesburg Water. MMC, the community is correct. We've had a couple of meetings, Minister, more than once, and the community is well advanced with the challenges experienced in these ones. Wards 54, 55, 56, and 124. And this one's 57 as well. And these ones are mainly supplied from 2 systems, which is your Crown Gardens as well as your South Hills. And one of the discussions previously was that, like the committee has said, there's a blame game between rainwater and Johannesburg water. And we went away, community members, and we sat with the rainwater, and they will come and explain the situation together with the team from Johannesburg water to inform you what is the plan to have the water on your tanks moving forward, and when will that happen. So you've heard this big story before about the challenges. I think you are now yearning for solutions. And I'll call my colleagues, Mr. Mchunu and Mr. Mzake, just to give a plan of action as agreed during our engagements. Mr. Mzake?
Good afternoon, Minister, Honorable Minister, MNC, all protocol observed. Good afternoon, residents. My name is Mchunu. I am the Senior Manager in the Johannesburg Water Demand Management Section. As the COO has indicated, we've been having meetings together with the regulator to try and come up with a plan, an immediate plan to resolve this issue. And the plan that we have put forward basically is this afternoon to shift load. So we do what we call load shifting from the water shifting or water load shifting from the one system which currently is operating properly, and bring it over to the system that supplies the South Hill Tower. That will happen from this afternoon in the evening. That will then be the plan that will allow us to relieve the current problems within the South Hill supply zone as an immediate plan. Secondly, what we then looking at is to come up with a long-term plan. Now, a long-term plan, as you're all aware, that the Mayor's Hill system or the Mayor's Hill Reservoir has some engineering or technical challenges. So what we have resolved as Johannesburg Water is to look at creating what we call a sump or a mini reservoir within our pump station, so that when the system recovers, it can then recover into the sump, which would then make it easy. Basically, it would act like your Mayor's Hill Reservoir, the one that is currently tracked. Because I think for those that have been staying around South Hill would I remember that before we had challenges with the Mayor's Hill Reservoir, we never had problems pumping at South Hill, right?
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Before that complex was built, there was no problems with the Mayor's Hill and a funny little grey water tower before they built the Silver Bull. And that, there was no problem. They built those townhouses, and they're going to build another 5,000. And I can tell you right now, 7,000. Okay, sorry, I'm 3,000. What I can suggest is that you fix it at Mayor's Hill, stop the building of those townhouses, and you'll have no problem. Or build a reservoir for those townhouses, the new townhouses, which will take the pressure off the Silver Bull and Mayor's Hill. That's your solution. But nobody wants to do it because they cost money. That's the answer.
If you allow me to conclude, once we put in the sump, then the system will be able to recover. Because probably you've heard from our technicians, whenever we've had this kind of challenge, we'll be talking about a lot of air that is coming from the system, right? Now, the sum is going to eliminate that problem. So, you know, as I said, as far as I've worked within Johannesburg Water, when we were pumping from Mayor's Hill, we never had challenges. We never had challenges of air, right? And currently, that is one of the challenges we're having. And from our side, what we are considering is to put a sum so that then it will be able to deal with the challenge where we're able to pump direct from the sum and we are able to supply. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
What is the estimation to get some
Time frame.
I think what we'll do, Councillor Zungu and MMC and Minister, we will share a detailed plan of action for both the short term and long term with the residents. After this meeting, we'll go and do that and make sure that it's made available to all affected councillors, then they can share with the residents. But maybe to address the issue of the developments. The developments in the South Hill supply zone have since been stopped. We don't approve any development in that area. There's a moratorium because there is no sufficient water in that area. So that we have since stopped, and I think those two developments are the last developments to take place within that area because we are aware that more developments will put more strain on the system. So that has been put on hold. There was an issue, MMC, Councillor Zungu and Minister, regarding the quality of the water from the tanks. The water in the tanks are filled from a dedicated filling points. And these filling points, we have our lab at Sydney, where we test this water. And the regional manager, and most of you are familiar with her, which is Tagalani Makuva. She manages that process diligently and closely, and I'll allow her to just give an overview of how many tankers are there, how are they coordinated, and how do we ensure water quality.
Good afternoon. My name is Tagalani Makuva, Regional Manager for Central Region. I think I have shared the information of trucks on our last meeting at South Hill Tower. So what we do with the councillors affected, we get the location where they will want us to send the trucks, and then we do that on a daily basis. At the moment, we've got a total of 20 trucks in the area, which are supplying all the affected area in the central region. So the issue of old age homes, Councillor, as you indicated, there I know that we do have engagements regarding the way you will want us to locate the trucks for the old age home, like you have an old age home, you will indicate to us that you want the truck to be inside. We do that as we've been requested by the councillors. And then the issue of the water tankers, where they're getting water. We've got one filling station for Central Region. We're getting our water from Rift Valley because we've got a direct feed from Redwater. So most of the time when there's water outages, that water point always have water. And it's quicker for us because we get to fill one truck within 5 to 7 minutes. So it also assists us to be able to move in the areas as quick as possible so that we can service the customers as quick as possible. And then we also have our lab guys, our signal lab. I always tell the people when they say that this water is not clean. Remember, we can't send water to our customers which is not clean. If you get sick, it's our responsibility
one of the Johannesburg water officials there addressing that meeting involving residents of Robertsham and surrounding suburbs in the southern part of Johannesburg, which have been severely affected by water supplies or shortage of water, some of their taps running dry. She's one of a delegation from Johannesburg Water that includes the senior manager who is there, that Mzwakhe Mchunu, as well as the COO, that's the Chief Operation Officer of Joburg Water, Derek Kwale. But also we've got the councillor, the MMC, responsible for Environment and Infrastructure Services, Jack Sikwale, is also spoken now. But also in your view now, you can see the minister, that's the National Minister of Water and Sanitation, who's joined these Johannesburg officials as they are engaging with the local community, who's frustrated about the lack of water.